This is Roadkill's Junkyard Gold. International pickup truck. Tougher than most Ford and Chevys, industrial grade. Oh, and a Subaru Brat. Subaru was a major player in the subcompact invasion of the mid-1970s, and Brat was in there swinging from 1975 onward. Brat stands for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transporter, and with all-wheel drive and that flat-4 liquid-cooled engine, these things were like mountain goats, pretty much would go anywhere. But there's a little story about these things. In 1978, when these were first introduced, the government was trying to protect the truck industry in the States by imposing a 25% tariff on any imported pickup truck. So what Subaru did was add black carpeting and 2 small seats with handholds, and they called it a passenger car, which then got them down to a 2.5% tariff. But I see this is a trace of the original black carpeting found in the back that speak to how Subaru beat the 25% tariff. And this is a Geo. General Motors goes small. I don't even know anything about these things. Don't even care. The Geo is small, front-wheel drive, and they give me a stomachache, to be honest. Nissan Maxima diesel. This grew out of the Datsun 810. Volkswagen Rabbit took over from the Volkswagen Beetle, the first liquid-cooled Volkswagen of them all. Oh, and a Dodge Colt. I remember these cars very well. My mother bought a brand new Dodge Colt in 1974. Now, Dodge, being the smallest of the big three, lacked the funds to create its own subcompact Volkswagen Beetle fighter, so they reached out to Mitsubishi, a Japanese automaker, where they imported the Galant, brought it here, and rebadged the Colt. This one here is a 1977. We call this a Gen 3, similar to the 71 through 81 mechanically. One detail that Colt offered was a 4-door body style. That gave the Colt a little angle on the subcompact market. The interior of the Colt was typical of the subcompact genre. Front bucket seats, a small bench in the back, room for 4, 5 in a pinch. But the Colt did offer a couple of items that were standard that were not available on Vega or Pinto. A tilt steering column, which allowed drivers to get more comfortable, a trip odometer, and the front bucket seats mount on sliders with 5 inches of travel fore and aft, so even a 6-footer could be comfortable in the front seat of a Dodge Colt. Transmission choices included a base 4-speed or a 5-speed manual after 1977 with overdrive. This one has the automatic, which, like the AMC Pacer, is designed and supplied by Chrysler. This is the Baby TorqueFlite, a 3-speed automatic with excellent characteristics, and that was used from 1974 onward to 1981, the end of Colt production with rear-wheel drive. Power for the Colt came from one of 3 overhead cam 4-cylinder engines, a 1.6, a 2-liter, and a 2.6. Let's see what we have. This looks like the 1.6. To know for sure, we go to the emission sticker on the bottom of the hood, and 97.5 cubic inches, that's 1.6 liters. The Mitsubishi motor is more refined than either the Vega or the Pinto engine, and one of the key details on it is the cross-flow cylinder head. On the driver's side is the 2-barrel carburetor. That's where the intake charge goes over the tops of the pistons, gets burnt, and then comes out the passenger side down the exhaust manifold. It's a much more free-flowing design than others, and allowed these little engines to go to 6,000 RPM. While the Chevy Vega utilized coil spring rear suspension for a slightly smoother ride, the Colt followed Pinto's model and utilized leaf springs and a live axle. This is the locking gas cap, and remember, when these cars were new, gasoline was being rationed, there were long fuel lines, and people would go out at night sometimes siphoning gas and stealing it. This kept that from happening. Another standard feature on all Colts was electric rear window defrost, which didn't mean much to you if you lived in California, but folks living in New England, where it snowed, this was a godsend. I wouldn't recommend this Colt to Freiburger and Finnegan as a roadkill rescue. After all, it is an import. But back in 1972, the NHRA sure loved these cars. That's when they legalized Colts, Pintos, and Vegas for V8 conversions in pro stock drag race classes. Guys like Bill Jenkins ran his Vega, Don Nicholson ran his Pinto, and Sox and Martin ran their Colt with a big 426 Hemi under the front. This car deserves a transformation into a pro stock replica. Everything but the body shell would be thrown away. I'd build a tube frame, some Sox and Martin paint, big old set of slicks, and some skinny tires up front, stick a big old Hemi in there, a Lenco 5-speed, a narrow Dana 60 rear axle, and magnesium. That's how this economy car will be transformed into a drag strip terror.